Hello and welcome to this very quick introduction to Cambridge National's creative iMedia. This is a GCSE equivalent course, but it uses what is called Cambridge Nationals, which is a bit more similar to something called a BTEC. It is scored using distinction, merit, pass at level 2 and also distinction, merit, pass at level 1, giving you quite a wide range of possible scores. Let's quick take a look at the overview then. The aims of the subject. It's to try and teach you the types of skills that you need if you were going to go on and to work in the media sector. All of those types of background skills of planning, visualizing, storyboarding, those sorts of things, as well as, of course, using the computers to technically create content, for example, for the internet. The course itself now involves 3 pieces of work. It's aimed at people of your age, 14 to 16-year-olds, and there are 3 pieces of work ultimately that need to be done: an exam and 2 pieces of coursework that we can have some choice over. One piece of coursework has to be done, which is called R094, which is about manipulating graphics, and then we have a choice out of the other ones. We'll talk about that more in a moment. The obligatory course content is the R093, which is an exam, 1 hour and 30 minutes, on the sort of theory in the background of the creative industries, planning, moodboarding, recces, risk assessments, those sorts of things, filming on location. And then the photo manipulation unit, which is basically being able to use the equivalent of Photoshop to be able to manipulate graphics, copy, paste, flip, rotate, recolor, resize, all that kind of stuff. Sorry. The optional units. We have a set of optional units that we can pick, but if I had my choice, it would be digital games. I love designing games, and I think I'm quite good at it, and I can definitely teach you people how to do that too. As I've already said, it gets assessed under 3 units. One of them is an exam that gets done in school, sent off and marked by examiners. The other 2 are coursework that are marked in school, but then they check our marking. And you can see here how much time they reckon it should take for the exam to happen, how many marks it's worth. The obligatory photo manipulation with the digital graphics unit is worth 50 marks. Taking about 30 hours worth of class time. And the other unit, the optional unit, this is just an example, they're recommending about 42 hours, is worth 70 marks, and you get a combination score all across those 3 things. Here's an example of sort of an exam paper. Some questions are multiple choice, only worth 1 mark. Others involve you completing diagrams. And then later on there are some questions that involve actually written extended answers, so being able to write in paragraphs and sentences is a very useful skill for this subject. An example project brief here. This is a game that the Year 11s have made called Working Time. Basically you're a character in a jungle trying to get themselves to work, being hindered by obstacles. It's a platform game or a continuous runner game. It's up to you to decide exactly how you interpret the actual client brief, but that's part of the skill, interpreting what somebody else is asking you to do and making it happen. So we would spend time in class being creative, and it's definitely aimed at people who are already creative. You might be artistic, you might already be making computer graphics, creating websites, playing around with coding and that kind of stuff. Here's a game that we get the kids to do, a practice game called Move. Basically, you're playing a person cutting the grass, avoiding the obstacles in the garden. Creating websites. This is a travel blog website. Creating platformer games. This is one called Bouncy Bob and the Big Blocks. Just a practice game to get their eye in before they go away and do the coursework for real, make their real game. But it always starts with visualization. You need to be able to picture what it is you're trying to make. We will help you, guide you in the skills that you need for that. For example, there's level design here. This one here is a quick sketch of what a new pair of trainers could look like. the ability to be able to annotate and explain your ideas to other people is a very important skill. And of course, we can use digital tools to help us already create stuff, and this is what we call a mood board. Lots of images of stimulus images that try to help you keep your eye on what it is you're trying to achieve. All of this work involves planning, though. You can't get a job done unless you actually know what it is you're trying to achieve. So being able to identify what you're actually trying to do, coming up with a plan of how you're going to do it, thinking about what it's actually going to look like before you actually start. And then, of course, you will then go into the development stage, which is the actual making stage. So you'll use software to do this. Types of software we use Game Maker, we use Scratch, we use Serif Web Plus to create websites, we even use PowerPoint, and this is a game in PowerPoint. The idea is that you are not allowed to touch anything with the mouse. The moment you do, you would die. It's a bit like Indiana Jones in this particular case, avoiding boulders and spinning death wheels and things. Simple rule, just don't touch anything with the mouse. Okay, so that's what you'd actually be doing in class. Where's it going to take you in the end? It's going to take you to a career, maybe being a web designer, possibly a copywriter. They're the people who think about the words of adverts and slogans and taglines and things like that. Working on film crew within TV and film industry. Being a game designer. Lots of people fancy the idea of being a game designer, but only a few games ever really get big and famous and actually make money. You might have noticed that. A lot of them are free. And advertising. Always looking for young, creative minds, people with great ideas. Maybe you could be that person. So that is Cambridge National's Creative iMedia. I hope that you find that useful and that you may well pick this subject to do for GCSE. Thanks.